if you'd like to say a few words about your,
Yes.
the new cabinet.
Yes. Well, I think the new cabinet is very radical change from the previous cabinet. I think quite a few of the ministers have retired. Most notably, of course, MM and SM. But a few of the other ministers have also retired, including myself. I think it is important, that there is a new slate of candidates, of ministers, to help Prime Minister to tackle the new challenges that will face Singapore going forward.
Would you like to talk about your own decision to step down?
My own decision, well, it was a decision that I took some time ago. I think it was around 2 years ago, 2009, when I spoke to PM and I indicated my intention to step down at the end of the term. When the elections were called, Prime Minister asked me to continue to fight the elections, and I agreed to do so. I thought it was my duty to do so, and now that the elections have been fought and won, all the more reason why I should step down from the cabinet. Yeah, so I think Prime Minister has kindly agreed to my request, and I think that allows him to have a new lineup, and also allows me to pursue other interests.
Was your decision motivated by the outcome of the elections?
Well, it indicated, I think, that we needed fresh minds, fresh thinking, fresh ideas. And I guess that was one of the factors, yes. But as I said earlier, I decided to step down, but I guess after the elections, when the results came out, it was probably a clear signal that I should do so sooner rather than later, into the term.
Mm-hmm. So, Minister, would you like to share what's your next step?
Next step, spend a bit more time with the family and with friends and with my residents. I think my residents are all looking forward to having me back in Tampines, a little bit more time with them, and of course, definitely my family and many of my friends too, which I think is overdue, because I have not been a very good friend to them for quite a while.
But will you continue working? I mean, going back to the corporate world or even...
I have not decided yet. I'm still a member of Parliament, so I think that's going to occupy quite a bit of my time. But other than that, I will be available if duty calls, if I'm able to contribute. And first things first, I'm going to take a short break. And then after that, we will see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Minister, could you outline some of your biggest achievements in your terms as Minister? Perhaps not only at MND, but
Well, I've been in government for 23 years, so I guess a lot of things have happened over the 23 years. Some very memorable, some very positive and very pleasant, some not so pleasant. I think my time in comms, I spent about 11 years in comms, dealing with transport, dealing with newspapers, dealing with information, dealing with telecommunications. Many things happened at that time. Of course, road transport was a very challenging portfolio as it is today, as you know. And those were some of the more challenging aspects of my work then. And of course, many other aspects as well, telecommunications, when we corporatized and then privatized Singtel. In air transport, I think there were some high and low points. A low point to me was when Silk Air MI185 went down. I think that was a very traumatic time for all of us. High points, of course, was also when we formed LTA, opened the Northeast Line. Well, I don't want to go into all that detail now. I think it's really, one day we will take to a summation of all of those things. But I think there's been high points and low points in my career.
Could I ask if the housing portfolio was politically costly for you? Do you think?
Housing is always a very sensitive topic, a very sensitive subject, and I guess to the extent that in the last couple of years, housing prices went up very sharply, coinciding with the very dramatic turnaround in the economy, and I guess that resulted in quite a lot of unhappiness on the ground, and I accept responsibility for that. Yeah.
As for some residents in Tampines, if they feel like they voted you because they thought you were a member of the cabinet, and now you are retiring from it, what do you have to say to that? Do you think it's fair for them? How would you?
No, I think after every election, the Prime Minister forms his cabinet, and for Tampines, I'm very happy that Mr. Heng Swee Keat is now Minister for Education. So we have one minister, full minister. We've got Minister of State, Mr. Masagos, and the rest of us are experienced, long-serving MPs, and we will continue to work hard and work to engage the residents and to serve them fully. I guess, in fact, some residents are very pleased that I'm now able to spend more time with them. That's what they've said. So I think all in all, we have a good team, and I think the Tampines residents they will find will continue to be well served.
One more question. Could I find out what are some immediate challenges that Minister Kaur would face taking over you?
Well, I think I should leave that to Minister Kaur to answer.
No problem.
Yeah.
Some academics have actually commented that maybe you have stayed at MND for too long. So maybe
I don't want to comment on those things.
Oh, okay. Then another thing about the future, if given the role of Speaker of Parliament, would you take it?
I haven't thought about it. I've not been offered. So.
And also you mentioned that 2 years ago you already made the decision you wanted to last that.
Yes.
So why was it made 2 years ago?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, I guess 2 years ago I didn't know when the election was going to be called, so I knew the election would be coming soon. That was about 3 years after the last election, so I wanted to signal my intentions or express my intentions or my desire clearly to the Prime Minister in case he calls the election sometime soon. Reason for that? Oh, I think I have served long enough. I think there's room for change, and there should always be a continuous change and renewal in the party, in the cabinet. I think this is the strength of the PAP, the ability to self-renew, the ability to change, and for people to come in, serve, and when they have served and they have done their job, to move on and let others who are able or capable take over. I think the moment there are enough people, capable people to take over, we leave. I think that's the PAP way.
So will you contest the next election?
That, I think, we leave it to the Prime Minister.
Sure.
Minister, just one more question. Earlier you mentioned something about taking responsibility for certain things.
Yes.
But do you think you've been misunderstood as the Housing Minister?
I leave that to others to judge.